Yeah, you see, quantum computers are the ultimate computers because they're computing on atoms. If there are aliens in outer space, and I think there are, it means that they also have perfected quantum computers, and they can do calculations that are far beyond anything that we can calculate with. Like, for example, a wormhole. A wormhole, in principle, is a gateway between two distant points in space and time, which allows you to break the Einstein barrier and go faster than the speed of light. But the calculations are horrendous. It may take a quantum computer to sort through what happens when you go through a wormhole and wind up on the other side of the universe. And the aliens probably already have done that.
Yeah,
They've probably had centuries of experience with quantum computers because that's the ultimate computer. You can't compute on anything smaller than an atom. And they probably already have used the quantum computers to navigate through wormholes, let's say, hypothetically.
It's so fascinating when you think of where we were just a few thousand years ago, or a few hundred years ago, to where we are now. And then you imagine the invention of quantum computing, you imagine everything, just the whole idea of whatever we think of current computer progression just goes out the window. And it's insane calculation capabilities. Like, we could be able to do something like that in the future.
Right. Quantum computers allows us to calculate things that are way beyond our ability to calculate today, like going through a wormhole or warp drive, or even the question of multiple universes. People ask the question, how come quantum computers are so powerful? It's because they compute in parallel universes. This is the multiverse, which, of course, Marvel Comics has discovered and the Oscars have discovered recently. But the multiverse idea comes from quantum physics. Electrons can be two places at the same time. Now, some people have a hard time getting their head around that, but get used to it. That's why we have lasers. That's why we have transistors. That's why we have the internet. That's why we have this conversation. Because the electrons that are in this microphone dance between universes at the atomic level. And so we have to get used to the idea that quantum computers introduces a whole new way of looking at reality. Now, reality is not a Marvel comic, but the idea of the multiverse comes from quantum physics, and that is electrons can be multiple places at the same time.
Do you think this understanding of this and this race towards quantum computing and that kind of, and whatever is after that, do you think that is a natural course of the universe? That this happens whenever things are intelligent and sentient, they keep striving to create something?
I think so. I think on the other end of the Milky Way galaxy, there's probably a young alien who is also talking about quantum computers, and they probably already perfected it and have had experience with quantum computers maybe for thousands of years.
Well, and also possibly every step in humanity's journey along the way to that point exists out there.
That's right. And all the goals of this journey, maybe they've already accomplished. Like, for example, we mentioned the possibility of slowing down the aging process. Quantum computers will be able to isolate where genetically at the DNA level, where errors build up, causing what is called aging, in which case maybe immortality is something that the aliens have already cooked up, in which case we have to deal with a whole new concept of biology and medicine, because they probably already have had thousands of years' experience with quantum computers. They manipulate molecules probably as part of their life.
And every step along the way probably exists too. So that might be, if you wanted to have a logical reason to why aliens visit us, if they do, if they really are aliens, that would be the answer. Like there's probably a shepherding. There's probably a natural course that happens with intelligent life where it develops this power while it's still a territorial tribal animal, and it's still got these barbaric instincts. It still engages in war. It still engages in theft and deception, and all while about to break through to the next level of intelligence and capability, which may exist, which may be in the entire universe.
Yeah, I think that all civilizations in the galaxy probably go through the same basic stages. That first they use rocks and stones to settle differences, but then eventually they begin to understand chemistry and substances and properties of materials, and then beyond that they discover atoms and the ability to manipulate atoms. I think that's a normal progression, and I think that progression is now hitting the computer industry. Now we're going from microchips to atoms, quantum computers, and I think that the aliens in outer space probably went through that phase maybe thousands of years ago, in which case they used the quantum computers to cure cancer, cure aging, diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. These are diseases at the molecular level. And they've been able to probably use what is called CRISPR technology to cut up DNA, to cut up proteins in order to cure many of these diseases, in which case they may be immortal.